Hey, welcome. Good to see you. Last we left off, we had a crash, and that happens sometimes. I think we lost the upper body work that we were doing, but let's get back to it. Ah, let's hide the cape real quick. Just to get it out of the way, LOD sections, LOD 0 sections, disable, and now we can get going. Let's bring up our selection mode, animation, got our layers over here. Great, we're good to go. Check our root motion, just making sure we didn't lose anything else. The thing I want to do is make her a little bit more bobby. Since we lost the upper body, I want to do one more pass at some of the lower body stuff. Let's look at the up and down here on our hips, and we'll hit Control T to bring up our transforms here. And this little anchor we can actually set for here. So like our left bound, I'm sorry, the scale center is frame 8. So if you wanted your scale center to be frame 0, you can move that over here. Then when you scale it, that frame 0 doesn't move. But what I want is scale center to be the upper bound here. There we are. That way when we scale, we don't lose our upper or as high as we go. We just go a little bit lower. So if we scale this, we can see that our upper position isn't moving, but our lower position is moving. That's what we're wanting. So I think that feels a lot better. Her shoulders I think, are a little bit too far back, just from posing. So what we're going to do is look at Z here, see how the Z moves. There, we've got a rotation here and just move the Z up and push the zoom out a bit. Push that forward. Not too much. Just don't want her to feel like super duper confident. But I want her to feel confident. Just not cocky. There's a fine line sometimes. That feels good. I'm going to rotate her torso forward just a little bit. Whoops. Got the elbow there. So, some people like to work with pickers. I've never really been a fan. Okay, I think that's okay. Look at this right arm went forward. Don't think. See about just changing this arm a little bit compared to our left arm. What I'm looking at is really how this hand is twisting. I'm going to use the upper arm to help control that. So let's paste that key. So it's a middle mouse click over here. Close this. A middle mouse click, and that saves your position that you have on that key over here. And then once you key it, so the yellow bar here means that it's not keyed yet. If you key it, it saves it. So you can just paste that anywhere. We can also resist Z, scale that up. Let's find our bound position. Let's reset this. Oh, what did that do? Interesting. I just got rid of that animation. Huh, that was interesting. I'll just set this. Guess you can maybe trying to see if you can snap it right to that middle position. Anyway, I think that's okay. Want to make her swing more. And definitely a little further out here. So just trying to make her a little bit more kitty. I'm not looking at any reference or anything clearly. But what I'm thinking is kind of sloppy, like judging from my children when they were a little younger. Not everything was tightened up. They're a little goofy. Okay, got that going. I think we might be swinging too far here with our X. We're going to scale that down. Oh, I think that was our Z, sorry. Our Z, our forward and back. Let's scale this down a bit. And then scale our X down a little bit here. Our Z, sorry. So we're just not rotating so much. Still feels like we're rotating a lot. Well, let's keep going. Still works. I just kind of make adjustments and then preview that, see if I like it. So let's get some more. What I like to do is offset the arms and legs. So right now we've got our forward position hitting with our forward position here for our arms and legs. And then, so that's at the same time. So there's a couple ways to do this. I think for me, the way I like to do it, I'll show that in a second. That you can use this pre and post infinity. So once you have a, let's hit Q to get out of transform mode, go back to regular selection mode. So once you select your key, your curve's there. You go to right click on the curve and go to cycle, pre and post infinity, because I don't know if I'm going to drag it backward or forward. So you can see that the curve is now cycling forever in and outside of our range. So this is a really easy trick that a lot of animators do to increase and just like offset something. You can see how that offsets something, and now we're getting definitely some wobbly action in the arm. I might actually just keep that, but let's show you what I usually like to do. So I'm going to use this new tool here, and it looks like we'll overshoot because I want it to go beyond this key here. I'm going to hit overshoot on. We're going to drag this back to our previous. So I don't want to have any keys selected, so I wanted to set a new key. So just on the object I have, and then we can overshoot it however much we want. And obviously, like if you liked that most forward position, we're going to get a more extreme forward position there. The same thing over here. We won't set a key, but we'll just overshoot there. Then come back here and hit, and just zero that out. We'll actually select this key and this one. Clean up the tangents. And tangents. And more tangent cleanup. So it's kind of the same thing, just more exaggerated. But the reason why I like to do this more is because I like to have a key where in my extreme positions. That way, like for me, I understand that like I'm the one that's done that rather than the computer has done that. So it makes it more intuitive to me to understand what's going on with my animation. So if there's something I don't like, it's because I did it, rather than it's something that the computer is doing and I have to figure out why. So that's pretty goofy. It's a little intense. So what I'm going to do is take all these curves. I should be able to do this. So we'd go to times equals about 75%. So scale that down. That's a little too much. I'm going to do it again. Times equals, so that's the asterisk. So Shift 8 or number pad above the 9 equals, and then it's just a percentage. So 0.1 is 100%. Anything over 1 is over 100%. If we did like 5 times 5, then you can see that this animation is going pretty crazy. But we don't want that. So we'll undo times equals 0.25. So now it's at 25% of what it was. That's too small. I'm going to do times equals 0.8 to 80%. That's okay, but let's go back a few. Just hit undo. Maybe we won't crash. So another method there. It's all about getting what we like. It's not necessarily about the working method. You have a bunch of tools in your toolbox to figure this out. So it's just another tool. So we're back to where we're at our infinite curves, post and pre-infinity. Then if I really want to, I can set a key here, then set it here. And then copy that one over. Oops. Copy this one over to here. And I did something wrong. We should be able to set a key. Oh, I set a key here on that one. Copy and paste it there, and that should do the trick. But there's something not working. Don't exactly know why. Oh, it's this key here. Okay. That's when you copy, it takes the tangents. That's what I'm trying to get here. Those tangents copied over, but it's not doing that. Not this time. So let's fix those tangents one more time. We can see we have a little bit of a hitch there. That's because we are slowing into this key. Over here, we're slowing into it. And over here, we're slowing out of it. So we just have that a slowdown. So we want to have a constant movement there. So we grab our tangents and we move them. So I'll probably just leave this here like that. And move on to the other arm. This way, same effect. This got what I liked a little bit faster and a little less of a headache. So it all just depends on what you're trying to accomplish and how quickly you're trying to accomplish it. So let's do, I wouldn't consider this exactly the way I want it, but it's working towards where I want it. So I think what I'll do is move this over a little bit. That's okay. Let's see, where was it? there, there. We're just too far over here. Let's go to Gimbal. Maybe we just want the Y over. And then here, we don't want it to rotate back so far. So Gimbal in Unreal 5.6 is called Explicit. So you got to turn that on. So we go to Editor, Plugins. Make sure you're using the TRS gizmo here. Make sure that's checked. And then you want to go to Editor Preferences. We're going to type gizmo. We're going to come down here and look for Enable Experimental Gizmo. And then you want to check also Enable Explicit. If you use animating in Maya, that's exactly what that is. It's Gimbal. You can see how our axes are turning based on who's the parent. I really am liking this a lot better. I think it's just rotating a bit too much on X. Going a little bit too far out on, let me see, Y. I actually like animating in world and then just working within here. It's okay for now. I think that's okay for now. Let's clean up these tangents. I think Y and X are the only ones. So I'm going to hit 0 here to auto tangent. Come to X, see what's going on here. Like we are slowing down a little bit here. Guess that's okay. Let's see what's actually happening here if I move that. So just making that kind of linear there. If we are coming out on Y, I think that would be here. Maybe we want to come in around here. Then we don't want to clip. Like ultimately, what I would probably do is change this into IK and then just reanimate it. I'm actually a really big fan of FK. Too many extra things being able to control what your arm is doing, but you get a lot of free movement. I can understand why someone would like that. And I don't think cleaning up these tangents is really gonna help here. But we'll give it a shot. That's fixed. That's fixed. And Z is okay. So before we move on, I want to take this curve, just do the version copy, paste over here, and then paste again here. And then we'll do, see, it's not, it's weird. That's interesting. Let's select this one. Oh, I think I know why. Maybe it's all this here. Okay. Yes, this local here. So what I'm trying to do is, you know, over here there's values. So there's a time value and then there's a key value. If I come down here and just select all the curves, then those values don't show up. And I think it's because it's showing this local value here, I think. So there's our local value. And I mean, it's weird because like this toggle is basically a 0 and a 1. The 0 being false and 1 being true, and true is checked. And then there's a time value here, so you can have keys wherever. It should still work, but I don't know. So I just select that, select here, see like they show up. Anyway, what I'm trying to do is just offset this animation. Animation is 18 frames long, so half of that would be 9. So 1 minus equals 9 here. Now we've got our animation offset. I think that's okay. I think that's good. One thing I want to do is always test in game. Since we're here in the engine, I'll just bake this out real quick and play the game and test. So animals, locomotion, I think it's unarmed. Yes. And then we'll leave this playing and then we'll play in the game too. That way we can see it here. We'll switch to, am I jogging? No, I'm walking now. Got a little twin here. Yeah, I really like that. Sometimes we have to learn from our mistakes and save. But sometimes, there we are. Sometimes you get some wins. So you have a crash, take some time off, and understand that you can rethink the problem at that point. Maybe you really liked it and you have to redo the work, and I'll admit that kind of sucks. But if you didn't really know where you were going, that allowed you to work through something and arrive at a destination that you didn't want anyway. So at the very least, you know where you didn't want to go, but then you have that hard crash and it wiped out all your work anyway. So when you come back, you can do something entirely different. Yeah, I like this. I think this is feeling good. But we've got the initial start of our arms going, and I think we'll leave it there and continue next time. So thanks for coming along with me, watching this upper arm journey and making her a little bit more kid-like. So see you next time. Happy animating out there.